We want freedom and liberty for all of our people, and they want the government to be in children's pants. Disgusting.
That was Representative Maxwell Frost dropping truth. This is during a debate on a bill that would ban all transgender girls from participating in girls' sports in public schools nationally. So Republicans have brought, this was on Wednesday, a national trans ban. Hey, whatever happened to states' rights? Weird. All right, so now, the bill, by the way, which was sponsored by Representative Greg Stube, we'll get to him, basically defines sex as based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth. Well, I mean, those are not always clear cut. Biology, not always clear cut. And so it's a pretty anti-science bill. And again, this entire thing is part of the far right's push to erase trans people from public life. I mean, that's what it is. It really is. And not only that, but apparently the right wing also wants to be the ones to inspect kids' genitals. How do you think they're going to enforce this stuff? I mean, sounds pretty groomerish to me. You know, doing inspections to ensure that, oh, there's no biological males in girl sports. A little creepy. How can you claim that you want to protect children when you're targeting children with this legislation? Oh, right, they're only targeting trans children. However, as we've seen before, in places where they've had these bans, there are cis women who also get targeted for apparently not being or looking female enough. I mean, this is the we can always tell crowd that can never really tell. And so, well, what are they going to do? Well, obviously they have to go and look at the genitals. They got to do the inspections, they say. No, that's super effed up, super creepy. Stay out of their lives. Stay away from those kids. It's gross. Now, by the way, this is partly modeled on Don't Say Gay, which does the same thing, right? In fact, one of the bills sponsored by Stube was also, again, Don't Say Gay. In fact, he had co-sponsored that. And on Wednesday, it was expanded to all grades. So now, throughout all the school system, Don't Say Gay applies in Florida. Now, the Associated Press reports that the expansion was at the request of Governor Ron DeSantis and goes along with other restrictions in Florida, including book bans and a 6-week abortion ban. So that's happening in Florida. Maxwell Frost is a representative from Florida, as well as Mr. Stube. And basically, Stube is trying to take this national. He's trying to make America Florida. Which, no. How about
No.
No, I don't want to live in Florida. That's why I don't live in Florida. By the way, there are some excellent progressives that do live in Florida that hate this. And Maxwell Frost is one of them. And by the way, he is pretty awesome. So now Stube, let me give you some more information about him. Stube had signed a GOP-sponsored Supreme Court amicus brief that contested the 2020 election, so he's an election denier. He also voted against the certification of the election, voted against impeaching then-President Donald Trump for interfering in the election and for January 6th, then voted against Congress awarding law enforcement officers for defending the Capitol on January 6th, And so he is a far-right piece of crap. Doesn't care about democracy, doesn't care about reality, doesn't care about science, definitely don't care about the kids. Especially trans kids. So I want to give you more of Frost's speech, though, because, again, that little snippet was part of one that was pretty excellent. Take a look.
This morning I called a 12-year-old in my district who is worried about their future as a non-binary kid in this country. They should be playing and learning and not writing to their Congress member desperate to not lose their right to exist. These are the priorities of the Republican majority, not addressing gun violence, rising rent, or medical bills, but violating the privacy of children. And I'm glad I get previews. I get like special previews of what this Republican majority is going to try to do in this body, because they're simply taking bills that are being passed in Florida and across the South, horrible bills, and trying to get them passed up here. This isn't about a problem that needs a solution, but about politicians looking for a target. We want freedom and liberty for all of our people, and they want the government to be in children's pants. Disgusting. History will not look kindly on this. Trans people will continue to fight for equity. We will be right by their side, and we will win.
He's right. We will win. The American people are not in favor of restricting transgender rights. And so now he also makes a lot of good points. Yes, Republicans are going all out on culture war issues while all of these other things are happening. You claim to care about the children, but you're the same party that's putting out a platform to try to cut Medicaid. That is helping millions of children have health care. Same party that's also trying to cut food aid. By the way, it's not in this state, but Republicans, I think it was in Minnesota, had tried to argue against food aid while trying to boost their own. I don't remember if it was Missouri. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Missouri, not Minnesota, where Republicans voted, against school lunches for children, but then also increased their own daily meal allotment that would be paid for by taxpayers. That's who they are. They don't give a goddamn about the children. Not at all. And if you listen to the kids, you listen to the young people, they're going to tell you, we do not want anti-trans bills. We don't want this. You're hurting us. You're hurting our trans friends. You're hurting our non-binary friends. Just stop. Leave us alone. The problem is, unfortunately, with these Republicans, they believe the children are property. Their property, specifically. Now, remember, one of the big things on the far religious right is to mold and indoctrinate children. Was it North Dakota? There's so many different horrible Republicans and horrible Republican bills that I've talked about lately. But yes, going back to, the far religious right and their obsession with breeding, their obsession with wombs, with creating essentially child soldiers. Maybe not soldiers in the literal sense anymore, but more of holy soldiers. You know what I'm saying? To indoctrinate them into their religion, into their far-right religious beliefs, and use them to take over the country. They do consider children, that's the whole idea of the Quiverful movement, by the way, which was made famous by 18 kids and counting, whatever, the Duggar family. That entire movement was basically considering children to be weapons or arrows in the quiver, right? In order to strike at the heart of American democracy, to turn us into a theocracy, a religious fundamentalist country. That's the ultimate movement with these people. And so, yes, they do see children as not people, as tools, as in some cases, weapons. What do you think this is? This is the weaponization of children to attack transgender people, to attack LGBTQ people. Those of you who are religious and do not subscribe to this, and I know there's plenty of you, you should be horrified what these people are doing in your name, with the name of your religion, which is supposed to be about forgiveness, peace, love, turning the other cheek, that kind of stuff. You ought to be real angry about what they're doing, how they're perverting your religion. It's not my religion, your religion. Now, let me get to the idea of that, we need trans fans to protect the girl sports. There's no evidence that trans girls have so much of a superior advantage over cis girls that no cis girl will ever win in competing in sports ever again. That's just not the reality. There's no evidence of that. Trans women do compete against cis women all the time, and sometimes trans women win. Sometimes they don't. Just like any sort of other competition. But again, it's not even about that. It's never been about girls' sports and protecting the integrity of girls' sports. You think these right-wingers ever cared about girls' sports? If they did, they would actually fund it and support it. But they never did. They don't care. It was always about boys' sports, boys' football, in the schools. Never really cared at all about girls competing in the local sports. Never gave them support at all. And never have any examples, by the way, of transgender athletes in a lot of the places where there have been bans. No, this is all about just hating the other, hating trans people, making them the other. It's bigotry, pure and simple, and it's just a way to try to erase them from society. It is a war on transgender people, especially the youth.